Romans 8:29. For those whom he foreknew, he also predestined to become conformed to the image of his Son, so that he would be the firstborn among many brothers and sisters. Today, I'm testing martial arts students, and it's the first time in a good while that I'm testing a few for their black belt. To be honest, I already know who will pass the test. I know this not because I have predetermined who I choose will pass and who will fail. I know who will pass because I love my students. I know them intimately. I know who has imitated me, practiced what I've taught them, and made it uniquely their own. I know their hearts. I know the ones who have practiced out of love for our martial art and the ones who've only had themselves in mind the whole time. I know who has held themselves back and blamed me, circumstances and such, and I know who made no excuse, but passionately pressed on toward the goal, despite real adversity. The ones who have passed the test have already decided in their hearts. Their spirits are committed to endure to the end. The choice is ultimately up to them. Of course, I predestined the purpose I would choose for them, but I won't force them to give their all to that purpose. They have to want the black belt and all that it means. Otherwise, it's all for nothing. Just as my foreknowledge does not mean I choose who passes ahead of time, and my predestining a purpose for all students to achieve their black belt does not mean I predetermine who will pass or fail. The same is true of God's sovereignty. God has predestined a purpose for all of us to know him and to be known by him in intimate love and joy. But it would not be a joy, nor would it be love, if he coerced us into the practice of entering his presence. He knows ahead of time who will freely choose to love him. In fact, in Romans 8:30, it goes on to say, and these whom he predestined, he also called. And these whom he called, he also justified. And these whom he justified, he also glorified. God calls every one of us to his divine purpose, to love him and others, to enjoy his presence and invite everyone into the abundant and eternal life with him now. Everyone who responds to his call is forgiven for their sins, because there can be no sin in his kingdom. But this is so much more than a get-out-of-hell-free card. He plans to do much more than cleanse us of sin. He gives us his perfect quality of life. This is what it means to glorify us. We can participate in his eternal and glorified reality right now. If you feel fragmented, diminished, or like this can't be all there is to life, you're not alone. The deeper reality awaits. God made a way for us to enter his presence and be wholly unified with him at the cross. When we turn over control of our lives to Jesus Christ, God makes us real, whole, and radiant by his presence in us. If our eyes are turned to the world, we'll miss all that heavenly glory. If that's you, I pray you turn your eyes back to the cross and find out what it means to be glorified today. I pray you pass the test.